Death toll from Katsina Mosque attack rises to 50. ASU warns fresh strike, accuses FG of betraying 2009 agreement. UNIZIC security arrests 3 students for defying signing out ban. And on the foreign scene, Uganda agrees deal with US to take in deported asylum seekers. Hello, good evening and welcome to News Update on Trust TV. I am Fatima Ahmed Musa. Thank you so much for joining us. And now we begin with Katsina. The number of deaths from last Tuesday's attack on Ongwon village of Malumfashi local government area in Katsina State has now risen to 50. Residents also announced that the number of women, including pregnant ones, children and the elderly abducted from the community has surpassed 100. We will bring you the details of this in our subsequent bulletin. And now, 14 children rescued by a joint security operation in Adamawa State have finally been reunited with their parents and loved ones after 2 months of rehabilitation and medical care. Presenting the children on behalf of the state government, Deputy Governor Kaletapo George Farauta reiterated the administration's determination to go after traffickers and ensure that all victims are rescued. Trust TV's Gibson Swadigo reports from Yola.
For nearly 4 years, these children were separated from their families after falling victim to a human trafficking network. The suspected ringleader, identified as Ngozi Abdulwahab, is a middle-aged woman allegedly specialized in trafficking minors aged between 4 and 9 from different communities in Adamawa to the southeast. Investigators say each child was sold between 800,000 and 1.7 million naira.
Ladies and gentlemen, this unfortunate menace is a crime that must not go unpunished. We must not rest until the suspect comes face to face with the full weight of the law. We have ordered the immediate prosecution of the suspect under the Trafficking in Persons Prohibition, Enforcement and Administration Act of 2015 Federal Law, Adamawa State Child Prosecution Law 2008, Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law 2021, and the Penal Code of Adamawa State. The message of His Excellency Right Honorable Ahmadu Morufintri to the human traffickers and those who aid them in this heinous act is clear. Adamawa State is the wrong place to come to, so take leave.
State officials stressed the government's commitment to ending child trafficking while urging parents to take greater responsibility in protecting their children.
All these 21 local governments have been getting calls every day for trafficking issues. And actually, we are not empowered enough in our district to get the logistic for trafficking, to track the traffickers. So I'm appealing also the governor to intervene so that we may have operational vehicles and other things so that we will always be punctual on our work.
Parents, overwhelmed with emotions, described the reunion as nothing short of a miracle, expressing gratitude to the government and security agencies.
You can imagine now our children, we have lost hope. Some of us have even took our traditional sacrifice that they are dead. But luckily, the press and the Nigerian police have made us achieve our aim and objective. So God bless you, and the sky should be a level all of you.
As part of its intervention, the Adamawa State government also provided cash support and food items to enable the families restate their lives and better care for the children. Gibson Soadugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
And now the Academic Staff Union of Universities is once again warning of a nationwide strike. At a press conference in Jos, ASU President Christopher Piwuna accused the federal government of destroying trust by failing to honor the 2009 agreement. Among the unresolved issues are unpaid salary arrears, withheld promotions, poor funding of public universities, and the welfare of retired lecturers. The union also rejected government's proposed loan scheme for tertiary institution staff, calling it a trap. ASU further criticized the unchecked creation of new universities, warning it has lowered standards and global rankings. On pension, the union lamented that professors who served for decades now earn as little as 150,000 naira monthly, despite rise in inflation. Still on education, the Nigerian Education Loan Fund has disclosed plans to discontinue the disbursement of upkeep loans during school holidays. Apart from loans disbursed directly to institutions, beneficiaries of the student loan scheme enjoy a monthly disbursement of 20,000. NELFund, in a statement signed by its Director of Corporate Communications, Oseyemi Oluwatoyi, on Thursday noted that upkeep loans will henceforth be strictly tied to the academic session of each institution. NELFund further advised that interested loan applicants are required to apply for the loan at the beginning of every academic session to be eligible for both institutional charges and upkeep for that particular session. As of August 21, 2025, a total of 86 million has been disbursed to 449 and 39 students beneficiaries nationwide under the scheme. Now, security operatives at the Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, have arrested 3 final-year students for flaunting a recent ban on signing out activities. Earlier this week, the school management prohibited students from engaging in the tradition of signing shirts after their final exams. But shortly after writing their last paper on Thursday, some students defied the directive, believing that the ban will only take effective next year. Video footage shows security personnel storming a hall and arresting 2 young women and a man whose shirts had already been signed on. The university authorities are yet to make a statement on the fate of the arrested student. And now, crowd have continued to troop into the historic Olomo Rock in Abeokuta. This follows Governor Dapo Abiodun's declaration of a 2-month free entry to the tourist site after a recent round of renovation work. The governor says the move is aimed at encouraging more people to visit the cultural landmark and boosting local tourism. Excited visitors, both young and old, have been taking advantage of the free access, exploring the ancient rock and learning about its rich history. Authorities say the gesture will not only promote Ogun State's heritage, but also stimulate economic activities around the area. Now, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has accused the All Progressive Congress, APC, and President Bola Tinubu's administration of plotting to silence voters and manipulate the outcome of the recent by-election in Zamfara State. Ahead of Thursday's poll, the PDP claimed that APC, allegedly with the involvement of a Zamfara State minister, had deployed a heavy presence of military and security forces, including Army, Navy, Air Force, Mobile Police, and DSS. Addressing reporters at a press briefing, PDP National Public Secretary Debo Olungunaba warned that these actions pose a serious threat to Nigeria's democracy, stability, and social cohesion. The PDP called on Nigerians and the international community to hold the APC responsible for any breakdown of law and order in Zamfara State.
The Mobile Police Force and the Directorate of State Services, DSS, from Abuja, likely deploying from Abuja, and other parts of the country to just 5 polling units. 5 polling units, and you have those armaments going to war, as it were. The aim of this nefarious deployment is to force a siege mentality on the people of the constituency, intimidate, terrorize, and prevent them from coming out to exercise their constitutionally guaranteed rights to vote. Having realized that the APC has been roundly and soundly rejected by the people of Zamfara State. Intelligence available to our party reveals that the APC intend to use the security agencies to bully and prevent the officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, from conducting a free, fair, and credible electoral process, as well as assist the APC to manipulate and declare a result that is at variance with the express will and aspiration of the people.
Now, political stakeholders in Kaduna State have expressed concern over the events that characterized the just concluded by-election across 11 states in Nigeria. They fear that the incident of vote buying and other manipulations could jeopardize the credibility of the electoral process, particularly as the country prepares for the 2027 general election. Trust TV's Bello Musa has the details.
The by-elections were generally peaceful and marked by voter apathy, with INEC distributing election materials to polling units on time. In most states, the ruling parties maintain their political dominance. For instance, in Kaduna State, the APC secured 2 state assembly seats and the Chikun Kajuri federal constituency seat. However, politicians insist that the by-elections should not be used as a yardstick to measure the strength of political parties, particularly the opposition.
This is just a by-election where all parties, particularly the ruling party, had concentrated its energy, its resources, and manpower. Those in government have virtually go to those places and make sure that they deliver. But when it comes to 2027 general election, when all people will be engaged in their own constituencies, in their own domain, I'm sure the opposition parties will have advantages. But before then, there was still the need for them to make sure that they have sorted their differences within the factions they are having.
Reports indicate that vote buying was widespread across several constituencies where the elections were held. Observers and analysts have raised concerns over what this trend means for the future of Nigerians' political parties, especially the opposition.
From some of the report we got from Anambra, votes were bought for as high as 20,000 in some areas. 20,000 for one vote. Here in the north, votes were bought for 5,000 and more. So if Nigerians are not doing the right thing, we allow this thing to continue. My brother, I'm sorry. Forget about you have any credibility, you have good stuff upstairs that you want to give to your people. If you don't have money, go away.
So what I'm saying here is, whether or not the political party are strong or weak, the political party with the money can compete with the government. And which political party has the government? And which political, let's tell ourselves the truth. Is there any political party, opposition political party that can compete with government of the day? You can't.
According to Dr. Suleiman, the prevalence of vote buying in the by-elections reflect widespread poverty, a result of leadership failure, and the growing mistrust between leaders and citizens.
In Sabangari local government, in Zaria local government, in Chukun local government, you see where the electorate and the leaders, lack trust between them. There is no trust between the electorate and the leaders. You see a situation whereby a voter will come out and say, no, my vote is for sale. I have evidence. I even snapped somebody. I have a video, a woman that is negotiating with the party agent. How much are you going to give me? When I asked her the reason why she is negotiating with the party member, she said they don't have any trust with the politicians.
As Nigeria heads toward the 2027 general elections, experts warn that the irregularities witnessed in the by-elections could have ripple effect on the credibility of the polls. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Still on politics, the senator representing Nasarawa West, Ahmed Wadada, has resigned his membership of the Social Democratic Party. This was contained in a letter addressed to the chairman of the SDP Tudun Ward in Kefi local government area of Nasarawa State. The letter was titled Notification of Resignation from the Social Democratic Party, SDP. This development comes amid Wadada's recent comment in support of President Bola Tinubu's administration. Speaking after a visit to the State House, the senator dismissed claims that the African Democratic Congress could produce a leader capable of surpassing Tinubu's achievements. Wadada also hinted at a possible return to the All Progressives Congress, recalling that he had previously served as a national officer of the People's Democratic Party before joining the APC and later the SDP. And now to more stories. Humanitarian workers in Maiduguri say funding cuts are undermining their ability to deliver effective services in conflict-affected communities across the Northeast. Speaking on the sidelines of the World Humanitarian Day celebrated globally, they called for increased protection for aid workers and civilians alike. Trust TV's Beatrice Grossi has the details.
For years, Northeast Nigeria has battled humanitarian crisis marked by food insecurity, mass displacement, and the Boko Haram insurgency. The violence has not only claimed countless lives, but also those of aid workers who risk everything to support the vulnerable. At the Hajj camp, Aisha Umar, one of thousands displaced by insurgency, benefited from a humanitarian skills initiative. Through cap weaving, she now earns an income to sustain her family. But the news of dwindling donor funding worries her. She says humanitarian support has also helped reduce violent tendencies among young people.
I was once held captive in a terrorist camp, living in fear and without hope. When I returned, the government welcomed me back and gave me a chance to start afresh. I was trained in cap weaving, and today each cap I sew earns me about 6,000 to 7,000 naira. With this, I can feed my children and rebuild my life. But if donor funding is cut, many others without such opportunities will be badly affected.
When I came back from the forest, I had no skills and no idea how to survive. With the support of government and humanitarian partners, I was trained in barbing, and now I run a small salon. I appeal to donors and foreign partners not to reduce their support, because many people have benefited and many more are still in need. Some humanitarian workers fear that reduced foreign aid will not be enough to sustain critical support for affected children and conflict-hit communities in the Northeast. They are calling on Nigerians to step up with local humanitarian efforts to help bridge the gap for the most vulnerable. As the world reflects on World Humanitarian Day, many hope that the challenges undermining service to humanity will not go unanswered. Beatrice Grossi, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
Now, the Katsina Area Command of the Nigerian Customs Service has intercepted 2 private vehicles loaded with illicit drugs worth over 692 million in Kongolom and other border communities within the state. The seized substance include 14 cartons of tramadol valued at 28 million, fragabalin capsules worth 650 million, and 194 wraps of cannabis sativa estimated at 14 million, all cleverly concealed in the vehicles to evade detection. Abdullah Yamadi has the details.
Illicit drugs like these often end up in the hands of bandits and other criminal elements, fueling insecurity across northern Nigeria. The Katsina Area Controller of Customs, Abba Aji Idris, described the interception as the largest single seizure of illicit drugs in the command's history. He noted a disturbing trend where smugglers now shifting from traditional contraband items like rice to illicit drugs, which offer higher profits but pose greater risks to national security.
Of recent, we were able to, at least in one of our borders, confiscated drugs, illicit drugs, tramadol in particular, in a large quantity of about 14 cartons. And the 14 cartons of tramadol that we confiscated valued almost 650 million naira. This is a large of its kind in the command, and you cannot divorce the use of drugs from banditry that is going on in this region.
In one of the border communities, officers recently intercepted a large quantity of tramadol worth 650 million naira, while pragabalin capsules valued at about 28 million naira were also confiscated. The controller emphasized that these drugs were likely intended for bandits terrorizing local communities. He explained that the smugglers used vehicles that appeared harmless to avoid raising suspicion at checkpoints.
People complain about customs disturbing us, disturbing commuters. Whoever is involved in this, or whoever is involved in this drug movement, will not park these drugs in a lorry. He will not park these drugs in an open vehicle. They have to conceal it in a vehicle that will make believe that these vehicles are just ordinary vehicles. So we will never know if we don't stop and search. And by so doing, luck was on our side, and we came across 2 vehicles at different times, and each of them conveyed a very large quantity of these illicit drugs.
The controller said this is the largest seizure of its kind in the command, adding that the drugs were cleverly concealed in vehicles designed to appear non-threatening to security operatives. He said one suspect has been arrested in connection with the seizure and will face prosecution once preliminary investigations are completed. Controller Idris urged residents to collaborate with customs and other security agencies to curb the smuggling of illicit substances across the state's porous borders. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Now away from Nigeria, Uganda has agreed to receive asylum seekers deported from the United States under a new arrangement announced by the country's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The deal covers nationals from third countries who are denied asylum in the U.S. but refuse to return home, provided they have no criminal records and are not unaccompanied minors. Officials say details are still being finalized, but Uganda's preference is that only individuals from African countries will be transferred. At about 1.7 million refugees, Uganda already hosts the largest displaced population in Africa. It now joins Rwanda and South Sudan in cutting similar deals with Washington. This agreement comes despite early denials from Ugandan authorities who had claimed the country lacked the capacity to take in deportees. Foreign Affairs Minister Henry Okello Oyem insists Uganda remains committed to its open refugee policy, but warned there are limits to what the country can handle. And with that, we wrap up this news update on Trust TV. Do not forget to watch and catch us across all our social media platforms for more news, programs, and documentaries. I am Fatima Ahmed Musa. Thank you for watching.